I love this time of year and really just the opportunity that Thanksgiving provides for everyone, hopefully to be able to just pause and to become more reflective on truly all we've been blessed with. I think when we can look at what truly we have rather than what we lack, it can help bring clarity and perspective that will provide benefits in many other parts of our life. One of those things that I am mindful of this year is I've been talking to so many clients and had so many reaching out, we've been reaching out to just trying to connect with and see how they're doing. It is evident that inflation and rising interest rates that affect a lot of different things have really put a strain on Americans' budgets. And I've been thinking about this cycle and just being reflective as I was studying and reading one of my favorite stories that many of you will be aware of is in the Bible. It's the book of Genesis chapter 41, where the Pharaoh has a vision and a dream, and Joseph is led to him and is able to interpret that dream. And in that dream, Joseph interprets and advises the Pharaoh that in that vision is what he was being taught was that there would be 7 years of feast and then 7 years of famine, with the invitation to prepare and to put things into store or reserves so that when the famine came, he'd have the resources and availability to get them through that. Well, the Pharaoh did that, and he was benefited. And even when things got tight, we read through several chapters, as the famine did come, and it affected everybody in all the region. But the Pharaoh was able to see truly the blessing that was there and was able to support not only him, his nation, but several of the surrounding people. Well, I look at that at this time when people are being really strained and feeling a little bit like a season of famine. Perhaps we can look back. This cycle has gone for thousands of years. That's why I share that example, is it's from thousands of years ago, and we've watched that flow of supply and demand really come in and create that cycle through generations. Well, I think something that can be helpful is to think in gratitude, what are the reserves or the equity that have been created over the past decade? Well, that's many. For many, they've been able to put a lot more into a retirement account, into savings accounts. Perhaps you've paid off several vehicles. Perhaps you've got toys. I'll use example of boats and ATVs that are paid for that weren't there a decade ago. For anyone who's owned real estate over the past decade, in general, has had tremendous amounts of reserves or equity created that are there, and they can be a tool and a resource. The question is just like in the time that Pharaoh and Joseph lived in, it's hard knowing when do we start to use those reserves. Well, I think the first step is realizing that they're there. And that is one of the things that I am grateful for during this Thanksgiving season, is just the wonderful conversations that we've been able to have with so many clients reaching out, and once again that we've been reaching out to talk through how has this affected them, and perhaps to bring clarity, where are their reserves? You know, often people don't call because they think Brett's just going to talk to me about a mortgage, and that's not the case. We want to be able to be a sounding board and look holistically at what you have going on, and make sure we're not missing something to be able to help solve and provide perspective and options for you. And so I just want to share a couple of examples and stories over the past month. We had two clients that when they called and they looked at it, they had some credit card debt that accumulated and come up. And as we looked at everything that they had, I looked at a couple of their vehicles that they had paid off, and they were worth about the amount that they owed in credit card debt. And those credit card interest rates were slipping away. The payments were going higher and higher. And on top of the inflation, it was just burning out of control, and they were getting into a bad situation. For one of those families, I looked and said, you've got 3 cars. How many do you need? And they said, well, really only need 2. They hadn't considered or been able to see, and I think sometimes it's just that lens of gratitude. They didn't want to let go of everything they had accumulated, but they looked at it and thought, this is crazy. Why are we holding on to this third vehicle? And so they sold it, and that they dug into their reserves, and they paid off a bunch of debt. Another one, they needed the vehicle, and so as we looked at all the different types of equity they could access, they had some that was available in retirement accounts. There were tax consequences that are going to be very expensive. We looked at the mortgage. and tapping the equity in their home. And for them, it was cheapest to access the equity in their vehicle and to refinance that vehicle, pull it out, and that provided them with the cheapest interest rate and cash flow in their situation. And they were able to get their budgets back controlled to get them through this time of restriction or famine. Many that we talk to and work with, we like to be able to help evaluate does it make more sense to pull out a savings or to restructure debt that may be accumulating or continues to accumulate, trying to meet your basic needs. Well, those reserves and equity, sometimes we have a hard time, as in every generation, tapping or using as a tool and a resource. But these seasons come and go. There will be additional runs and booms where that equity will continue to increase and will continue to be a blessing and fortune. That's one of the great things about home ownership. Perhaps that is using the equity in your home to restructure all the debt that you have. $1 of debt is $1 of debt. And if there's a more efficient way to structure that to reduce your monthly cash flow, that reduced monthly cash flow will help you in this time of restriction or famine. We'd love to talk to you about those. Perhaps that's redoing all the debt, including your mortgage. Perhaps that's using a home equity loan, a home equity line. Perhaps for our wonderful friends that are over 62, using a reverse mortgage. If we can see that we've been incredibly blessed and fortunate to have this reserve or this equity built, that can help us for a season when it will continue to grow again. And it's still growing in many of those instances. But I hope during this season, if you're feeling a little discouraged, some despair, I hope you take the opportunity, whatever it might be, an area of your life, just to be able to step back and to be intentional in looking for how blessed we are. Truly how blessed we are in all the different aspects of our lives. I hope that you'll feel comfortable reaching out. If you're feeling any of these pains, as you meet with loved ones this weekend, if you have conversations and you hear a family member struggling, we would be honored to have you pass our information along to them and to be able to talk to them over the next couple of weeks and to see if there are options for them that will help them successfully weather this time of famine and help them get through to the next cycle of prosperity. It is truly an honor, and I'm thankful for that opportunity. It's what brings me so much satisfaction and joy in this wonderful career, is being able to hopefully make a difference in people's lives every day and help provide perspective that maybe they're not seeing. So that's my invitation, is to take first and foremost some intentional time to write down all the things that we're grateful for, to try and see in perspective. And if you've got questions, we'd love to talk to you. Feel free to give us a call or shoot us a message, and we'd love to do that consult for you at no cost. We hope you have a great Thanksgiving.